Hi, it's Carly McAvoy. I wanted to do a brief video on type 1 and type 2 errors. The type 1 error is the mistake of rejecting the null hypothesis when it's actually true. We use alpha to represent the probability of a type 1 error. Alpha represents the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is true. A type 2 error is failing to reject the null hypothesis when it's actually false. We use beta to represent the probability of a type 2 error. Beta is the probability of failing to reject the null hypothesis when the null hypothesis is false. These kind of mistakes can be of little consequence or they can be of great consequence. A low-stakes mistake might be that you reject the null hypothesis and people eat more garlic. But a high-stakes mistake could be about the side effects of a new drug. That could be life-threatening for people. So these type of errors are taken very seriously. Here's an example. Hypothesis: the proportion of foreclosures is 8%. Which is the type 1 and the type 2 error shown below. So the proportion is, the claim is that the proportion is 0.08%. In the first one, we failed to reject the claim when the proportion is different from 0.08. And the second one is we reject the claim when the proportion is 0.08. So when we reject a claim, when it's actually true, so the proportion is actually 0.08 and we rejected it, that's the type 1 error. So B is actually type 1. The second one, A, is actually the type 2 error. The type 2 is when we fail to reject when it's actually false. We did not reject it, but it really wasn't what we thought it should be. So those are type 1 and type 2 errors. Okay, have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you next time.